Did everybody get a sheet, hopefully? Y'all didn't get one? No. Is there an extra one? I'll make some more copies if there's not enough. The ladies need one too. All right, today we're going to talk about 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to sort of break it down in layman terms as I would only do it. And I'm going to try not to drop the F-bomb 500 times. Okay?
Yeah.
But I get passionate and just all hell breaks loose, y'all. I don't know. But step 1 is a statement of the problem. Now, if you see on the 2 sheets, the sheets I gave you, that step 1 has 2 parts, don't it? What's the 2 parts? Come on, y'all got the sheets right there in your hand.
I don't have a sheet.
See, it's like an open book quiz. Come on,
I
y'all.
never have a sheet.
Got the answers right there. So the problem is what?
Lack of power.
Lack of power.
Nice.
All right. Now, step 1 is honesty. The only step you have to take 100%. You have to use your experiences with the mind and body, with the illness of the mind and the allergy of the body, so it'll go to your heart. If you turn to page 22, so does everybody, I know the newer people ain't gonna know. Do y'all realize that we have an allergy, that we're allergic to drugs and alcohol? You realize that? Yeah, most of us will say I break out handcuffs. That's me. You know? But the reality is that we have an allergy of the body. 1 drink, 1 craving. 2 drinks, 2 cravings. 3, so on, so on, so on. Why do you think there's never enough? Do they make enough? No. They never will. Because once we set that allergy off, we're off to the races if you're an addict, if you have the allergy. For me, that answered so many things that I couldn't figure out. My part, I knew I was half retarded or something. I didn't know what, I knew something was wrong mentally. I just didn't know to what extent. So if the body was the only problem, what would we do? Just don't use. How many of y'all tried that? The don't use program. It don't work, does it, for us? No. Because we have a mind that will not leave it alone. And on page 22, it starts talking about it. It says at the very bottom paragraph, it says, we know that while the alcoholic keeps away from drink, as he may do for months and years, he reacts much like other men. We are equally positive that once he takes any alcohol or drugs whatsoever into his system, something happens both in the bodily and mental sense, which makes it virtually impossible for him to stop. The experience of any of us will abundantly confirm that. So, y'all have that experience of once you start, you can't stop pretty much, right? All right, so that's telling you probably have the illness of the body. Now it goes on to say, these observations would be academic and pointless if our friend never took the first drink, thereby setting the terrible cycle in motion. Therefore, the main problem centers in his what? Mind rather than his body. I have a mind that will trick me, lie to me, convince me that it's going to be different this time. Or nobody's going to know. Or I could just smoke a 20 and go home and pay my bills. Yeah, that's not going to happen, First of all, if you name a crackhead that can smoke just a 20, I'll probably shake his hand. Because if you've ever smoked crack, you really know that allergy, I promise you. But my mind will not leave it alone. It's going to lie to me. We hear that we have our problem's willpower, right? Y'all all heard that shit, right? Well, the reality is we have some of the strongest willpower in mankind. Hey, think of the stuff we've done to get drugs and alcohol. Hey, I say it all the time. My little thing is I had a Lincoln Navigator. I drive around for a week smoking crack on $1 worth of gas and no money. But I stayed high, So we got some damn willpower. The problem with us, though, is we believe the delusion that it is going to be different. Or that I'm only going to drink a 6-pack with the guys and watch football. Which leads us on a run later on to our drug of choice using. I believe that lie and run into the truth every time. Believe the lie and run into the truth that I have the allergy and I'm not going to stop. Does that make sense? Well, it tells us on page 30, it says, most of us have been unwilling to admit we were alcoholics. How many of y'all struggled with that at first? I didn't want nobody to think I was a damn addict. I thought I could control some shit still. I thought they looked down on me because I was an alcoholic or addict. No person likes to think he is bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people. The idea somehow, someday, we will control and enjoy our drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. It's telling you right there, basically, at the end, that this disease is probably going to kill you. This is the only disease that will not go untreated. Either you'll get high, get drunk, you'll take this spiritual gift and run with it, the way out, or you'll probably kill yourself. How many of y'all have actually tried to kill yourself? Y'all didn't think there was a way out, did you? Hey, I'm telling you they are. I'm telling you they are. And this step is the only step you got to take 100%. The rest of it's a process. The rest of it is a process. Now, it tells us next, it says, we learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is what? First steps in recovery. The delusion, the belief of a lie, that's all what the delusion is, that we are like other people or presently maybe has to be smashed. But reality with that sentence is that we can't smash it. Hey, self-will can't control self-will. A sick mind can't fix a sick mind. It's just not going to happen. But our mind will tell us it will. Our mind will tell us to play that tape all the way out. That I'm only going to go sneak and smoke a 20 or get some meth or some pills and go home and go to bed. And nobody will know. Reality, though, that's my movie. I'm the director. And it's going to end the way I want it to end every time. But what really happens is I smoked that 20 and I turned around before I even got out the end of the damn ghetto and come back again. You know? And then I'm on a run for a couple of days. Hiding in motels, blah, blah, blah. We all done that stuff. But that's our problem. Now, step 2, if you concede to your innermost self, basically it's got to go from your head to your heart, y'all. You got to know with your experiences that you are an addict. You know? That's reality. The rest of it's not going to work if you don't take step 1 properly. Because each step properly taken delivers us to the next. Now, step 2, you turn to page 45, it tells us right here what the solution is. It says, lack of power. That was our dilemma. We had to find a power which we could live. And it had to be what? A power greater than ourselves. Obviously, but where and how do we find this? Well, that's exactly what this book is about. Its main object is to enable you to find. So that's telling you it's a process, right? You're going to find it. It don't have to be right this second. You're going to have a chance to figure all this out later on. It's going to just happen probably. Find a power greater than yourselves, which will what? Solve our problem. That sounds great, don't it? Step 2 is simply nothing but a statement of the solution. And what happens is when you say anything about God or your power of your understanding, God of your understanding, if you're anything like I was when I got here, you throw a brick wall up. Like if there's a God, to me, my conception when I walked in these doors, he was an all-punishing, basically saying shit on Daniel kind of thing. You know, no matter what. Or why else was I going, why did he let all this stuff happen to me all these years? If he's all powerful and loving, why didn't he just stop it? That's the conception I came in here with. But the beauty of this program is you don't have to have that conception. You just got to be willing to believe in a power greater than you. It don't have to be the God you think when you walk in the store. It don't have to be Jesus. It don't have to be Allah, whatever the case may be. I got my beginning by simply being willing to believe that something that helps somebody else might help me. I seen somebody up here jumping around like I am right now, with his family in his life, and about 2 or 3 years sober, happy, passionate. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be happy. That's all we ever want, right? I can tell you it can happen. But it's a process. Now, step 2 has 2 parts too. A lot of y'all didn't realize that, did you? It tells you that the fellowship spiritual experience, it tells us we have to have both. Why do you think we go to meetings? Why do you think I can get up here and talk about all the crazy crap I've done in my life and be okay with it? Because we're all alike in our certain ways. We all have the same problem, lack of power, and the solution's the same for all of us, whatever you decide to call it though. But we need power. You know, every one of us raised our hand and said we couldn't do it on our own, didn't we? Y'all tried to just don't do it plan. Y'all tried to wife it away, husband it away, kids it away. Hell, I even prisoned it away and it still didn't go away. You know? It's not going away. It has to be treated. And it goes on to tell us on page 47, step 2, it says, when therefore we speak to you of God, we mean your own conception. This applies to the other spiritual expressions which you find in this book. Do not let any prejudice you may have against spiritual terms deter you from honestly asking yourselves what they mean to you. At the start, this was all we needed to commence spiritual growth, to effect our first conscious relation with Him, with God as we understood Him. Afterward, we found ourselves accepting many things which then seemed entirely out of reach. That was growth, but if we wished to grow, we had to begin somewhere. So we used our own conception. This is telling you where you get your beginning. Hey, I tell y'all all the time, I believe somebody else believed. That's how I got started. You can believe in this program. It's saved millions of people's lives. You can believe in this group. Y'all are more powerful than I am. You know, spirit, whatever, universe. Just believe something besides yourself can't do this. You need help. And I know Jason's wanting me to say it. You're like Mario needing that star. You ever play Mario where he gets that star and he's like invincible and he just kills every damn thing? That's what we need. We need power to be able to walk through this. Now, even in Mario, think about it. If he was going to keep that power, he's got to keep getting that damn star, don't he? It's sort of like us. I ain't never thought that till just then. He's got to keep getting it, just keep it. That's sort of like what we got to do on a daily basis. Now here's step 2. It says we need to ask ourselves but one short question. Do I now believe, or am I even willing to believe in a power greater than myself? That's step 2. It's the only step not mentioned by name in the book. Like this thought brings us to step 3, whatever the case may be. It's just the only one. It says, as soon as a man can say that he does believe or is willing to believe, we emphatically assure him that he is on his way. It has been repeatedly proven among us that upon this simple cornerstone, a wonderfully effective spiritual structure can be built. So it's telling you all you got to do is do this to make a beginning. I told you the rest of it's a process. This is the only step you got to take 100%. The rest of it's a process. Now, being willing to believe will change probably for you, honestly. I'm just saying from my experience. By the time I got to the 9th step, I had a conception. It went from believing somebody else believed to there was God. Did I know what God was? No. I had no clue. But I knew all kind of good crap was happening in my life, and I had nothing to do with it. I was out the way. My family was talking to me. I had a job for the first time in my life, pretty much, that I actually held on to. I was paying my bills. I was following the rules. I wasn't worried about looking over my shoulder from the police. Because that's the way I lived my life. I had peace. I could lay in the bed by myself and not think about all the crap I've ever done because I had released it finally. But it takes farther action because simply this, each step leads you to the next, right? Leads you to this. Turning point. Which is simply a decision to seek the power we need. I want to be honest with you, this is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make in your life. It's basically signing a contract with whatever you believe that you're willing to do the work to change. You can't change without making a decision. You got to decide to change. Now the 3rd step has 3 requirements, which is basically 3 decisions in the biggest decision of your life. The first one on page 60 says, That any life run on self-will can what?
Success.
Cannot be a success. That's the first requirement. You got to realize your way don't work. You doing what you think you need to do don't work. I mean, reality check. Where y'all at? The Owl's Nest in Florence, South Carolina. Come on, y'all didn't just choose this for a vacation during your summer, you know? So
I did.
we got to make this decision, but the thing is the decision is just a decision, right? If you don't put no action behind something you decide, it ain't gonna happen. I can make a decision to run out that door right now, right? Am I running out the door? No, because all I did was make a decision to. I didn't put no action by running my butt out there. You know, my grandpa told me there's 3 frogs on the log. One of them decided to jump. How many you got?
3.
3, because nobody jumped. Nobody put no leap. Nobody put no faith. He didn't jump. He just sat there. You know? So it even tells us that this step is a vital and crucial step. Though without any action, it don't mean nothing. You know? Because what happens here, by the time we get to the 3rd step, we start feeling a little comfortable. We're sober a little while now. Got some food in our belly. Taking showers finally. Combing and brushing our teeth. You know, looking halfway all right. Like, yeah. And then our disease will pounce. That's why we stress so much about getting that 4th step done. Because what you're doing is playing with fire while you're holding on to that stuff on the 4th step. You're playing with fire. You're looking at yourself and you don't like that as it is. Your disease is right there waiting to pounce on you. So basically, to me, this is your decision. Life or death. That's the biggest decision you're ever going to make. Think about it. All we've all lived in is misery, pain, haven't we? And then almost dying, losing people we love to this disease. I'm tired of that, right? Aren't y'all? Y'all wouldn't be here if you didn't decide to change. But now it's up to y'all to put some work in. You know? I want this. I want to actually be happy. I want to be decent in life. Be a good father, son, grandson, etc. You know? So honestly, if you think about the bigger picture of this, the reality is, what do you got to lose? I mean, you can always go back out there. That stuff's still waiting on you at the end of Palmetto down there. It ain't changed. It's going to get worse. It always does. If you think about your experiences, you probably stopped at certain times and it's gotten worse and worse and worse. Heck, most of us started out smoking weed and drinking. Now we put needles in our arms, taking pills, smoking crack, meth. That tells you that this is progressive. You know, it's going to keep going. And if you got some yets, that means you're eligible too. Just because I haven't put a needle in my arm, don't mean I won't. You know, I got 8 tattoos, but I'm scared of needles. My disease will pounce on that. It just happens to be whatever it is. This last time it happened to be crack when I relapsed over 2 years ago. So I'm living proof that either you practice this and get the promises, or you don't practice it and get all the warnings. One way or the other, this book's right. I'm living proof of that. You know? So why not do the work? Hey, me doing the work kept me sober for 7+ years. Had a decent life. But 3 months of quitting doing what this said, I was right back to where I was 7 years before that. Just like that. So, has anybody got any questions or anything? How about all of us choose the life side for a change? But the thing is you got to work together to get that vital spiritual experience, which is simply nothing but a psychic change in your mind, an outlook on life. That's all. So, anybody got any questions? All right, let's close.
Please stand.